New year, new dash. Well, welcome everyone to the Bayou City Soccer podcast with the Orange and Blueprints. We're back once again. New year 2026 is here, so the 2026 NWSL season is on its way as well. Once again, if you're first time here or we're coming for the first time or try this off period restart again, this is Manny Oliveras as your host. But I'm not always by myself. I have my co-host.
How we
Ma-
doing? How's everyone doing? Orange and Blueprints is officially back. Manny, how are you?
pretty good, man. It's just a lot of. The off season was great. A lot of things, a
Last
lot
season
like
was phenomenal. We saw our main guy in the front office, Jason Lowe, get to work. As for those who don't know, Jason, he did a lot of coaching in the college level, including Boston College. This was told by, I would say, a dear friend of mine and also my boss, Magnus Nellerud. For those who don't know me, I am in New York City right now, working at Fordham University. But I'm excited to talk all things Dash as we're back. Manny, you said new year, new Dash, but same old hosts here at Orange and Blueprints, and let's say cheers to the new year, right?
unless they want to replace us, then I don't know.
Unless we're getting replaced. Unless we're getting replaced.
Like
Hey,
just
I,
just like the Dash Squad apparently.
I don't know about you, but I would watch a Maggie Graham and Avery Patterson podcast.
We'll see.
I
We'll
would
see.
watch that. I would
We'll
watch
see.
that.
I know that's a wink, wink. If you know about the tweet, the post that Dustin down that who you want to stay with, and that was one of the
On that
options.
airplane, give me number three. Give me option number three
Hopefully.
all day.
So, like we mentioned earlier, we just want, and it's been a while. I think it's been since what almost before Christmas. I think before
In a
Christmas that
month.
yeah, about before Christmas that we talked about a lot of things, and before then it was just very, very. I think the only thing we talked about was if I'm not mistaken, was the end of the season. Yeah, it was in November about
Yeah.
the roster decisions and everything. Just a recap real quick on the roster decisions that we did on that. Of course, a lot have expanded from that. They announced literally after the Dash was eliminated from the playoffs that the following people were on free agent. Okay, Belle Breed, Nadia Cooper, Evelina
Mhm.
Dujon, Ryan Garris, Anna Helfredi, Katie Lynn, Abby Smith, and that was it. But we know the fate of few of them. Sadly, Ryan Garris moved on to the club to Chicago. Katie Lynn, of course, retired from professional. I think that was the one thing that maybe I wasn't expecting. And then, of course, uh, out of that, of course, we brought back Elena Dujan. That was one of the signings that came. But of course, out of nowhere, I think as well, the Dash has traded Michelle Alozzi to the
Mhm.
Chicago Stars as well. Yes, as well as my boy. He says, "Yeah, we lost Alozzi." So I think that was a real. I think that was the last of the departures that we seen, but mostly those were the main departures. I think with those departures, which one was a surprise to you, Diego, of
I
all
mean,
these?
I think Katie Lynn is definitely a surprise with the retirement. Long, very successful career in professional soccer. I think to wrap it up, like she did with the Dash. Um, I think there's not really a better way to go unless you win the whole thing. But like to really help a young core kind of like settle in and really give their element and bring their skill to the table. I think she helped a lot with that, with the leadership and with the presence. So I would like to thank Katie for that. And that was definitely a surprise. But I would say what you guys want about Michelle Aloisier. Um, she's a Houston staple at this point. To label her and her impact um, of the Houston community, of the Houston soccer community, with words would not be speaking to how impactful she's been over the past couple of years. Um, coming from a temporary contract to getting that full-time contract, and then all the success with her national team, and everything in between. I think this is really a standout player that I think might need a change of pace, might need a change of scenery. I think Chicago might be good for her. You saw this season a step back in production. You saw that kind of like faith in her being lost by kind of like the collective, and I don't know if that's the same sentiment internally, but you did see less minutes, less production, and so I think a change of scenery is something that was probably needed for her, but I was surprised to see it so soon.
Yeah, I think that was my my one. I think her and as well with Ryan Garris. I think those two players were the face of the dash per se. Maybe in a social media standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
I think they were the face that represented the club the most. Maybe not on the field per se.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I think this is where many people are torn about these departures because I think they did so much for Houston and their awareness for women's soccer and being out with fans. I think that hurt more than the productivity on the field. But at the end of the day, it's even though we love these players, love their what they bring to social media, what they bring to the fans and to the culture. At the end of the day, what's important is the field, the end production on the field, and business point. We
Yeah.
can't, we can't, we. It's hard to remove those feelings when it's all about business. At the end of the day, so is
Mm-hmm.
this player working out for you? Is this player helping the system? Is this player getting points getting us to where we need to go, then
Yeah.
we have to move on. And it's sad. Not saying that we're disregarding these players or anything like we're saying the contributions were like next to nothing, but it's just if they're not working out or not feeding the system or not helping us to achieve the point, then the best interest of the club and for us moving forward is to move on. It's sad to say that. I think Katie Lynn uh I think her time was written, it was written already, like written on the wall. It was just like it's ever since I know she was battling injuries, maternity leave was impacting her a lot. You could tell that when she got back to the field, she wasn't as quick. She was a couple steps back, and so. But even though we still regard her as I think was Jen Campbell called her one day Miss Houston at one point because she was that type of personality in
Yeah.
Houston. So we just so sad for that. But I think all of that, I think all the departures were kind of necessary. Now we see maybe a few more departures we could see just because we will go a little bit more about how competitive or how not competitive. I think really really strong Jason Lowe and Angela Hercules are been a lot in this off season. So don't be surprised if more and more players are getting out as well. Jeff Strong says that is Zoe Matthews still under contract. Yes, she
Yep.
is. She's still on loan at Spain at the moment. So we'll see if anything with that situation as well. She's there with Rebecca, so that's at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think right now, with the departures and everything, it just gives. I think people will see the lies that there's it's given a lot of cap space, a lot of roster positions that need to be filled, and so with
Mm-hmm.
that, they I think after all those departures, we're like, well, how are they gonna fill this rosters with? Okay, and first, of course, first signing they did was a goalkeeper. I feel like the Dash first signings always is a goalkeeper. It's like
Yeah.
goalkeepers first, goalkeepers first. Even though we have Jane Campbell, we know we have Liz, who is like killing it on the U20, the U uh uh women's national team. But it's like they gotta do a kid, gotta do hate. Hilary Bell was signed from her stint with San Diego Wave, Louis FC. So we'll see how her as a third keeper option. I think she will come as a third keeper. And then out of nowhere, the Dash was like, okay, you know what?
Let's go crazy.
Let's go crazy within like literally a week. Let's go crazy. Okay. It's like, okay, January 7th, Kate Raider was signed from Duke University. She finished all the seasons with 32 goals and 20 assists within their 2 years in college. And they were like, okay, this is good. This is good. I think I like this. And then boom, 1 day later, and then we defined Notre Dame defender Leah Kelke. Yeah, man, I'm still waiting for out the pronunciations of this players' names. So she was actually native from Houston. So she actually grew up in the Albion Hurricanes FC.
Yeah.
Side note, I actually
She won a
lived.
state title at St. Agnes.
Yes, I
She
know,
won a
and
state title there.
I know. Note to self, I actually live next to the Albion Hurricanes FC.
Really?
Yeah, training site. Yeah. So I
Wow.
was
I used to practice there.
on Campbell Road. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I used to practice there.
yeah, yeah. I used to live right next to it, so I get all the free soccer balls. So I always get there. So now she's at the defensive part as a left back, can turn into center back, right right back, a jack of all trades defender. And Milito Cell, I think she has back to back all CCC first team. So really good on that defensive. And we're like, okay, 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 we got it, we got it. And then boom, yesterday, the Linda Allmark,
Mm-hmm.
a striker that a midfielder, well, midfielder, almost like a shadow striker at this point. She has been a rampant for North Carolina. I like how Sergio Strong says like so Fabrice is scouting the Hillsville or Tar Heels program. I like, hey, if it's working, it's working. And
Look,
so
man.
she has won a championship in 2024 and has been in there with honors and everything in her freshman year. And they thought we all done, we done, but no, Jeff Strong's like, no, we got one more,
We got one
another
more.
one, another one, another
Another
one. Then we got the Mac Herman Trophy winner, Katie Fosse, here as the last addition to the team.
for Tar Heels. Yeah, for the Tar
Yeah,
Heels. I think
For Tigers for right now, 35 goals and 88 appearances.
what a player.
That's a lot. And note to self for people who uh uh have had time to research her, she beat out Maggie Graham for that 2024 for that trophy. And there's a
Yeah.
video of her. Maggie Graham's like, "Oh my god, I'm happy for you," but in deep down, like she's like, "I should have won
Hey,
that."
well, I guess they'll battle it out as teammates. I think. I mean,
Okay,
you sign one Tar Heel in Avery Patterson, and look how well she's doing, and then you go crazy, and you're like, hey, let's bring UNC all the way to Houston, and
yeah.
let's make some magic here. I think I'm
Well,
gonna ask
well,
you how insane those signings are for you, but like overall, you don't see this type of movement from NWSL teams during the offseason. You typically see teams, go for one or two experienced players, maybe a college player, maybe two, but really this is primarily college players that are, being scouted and being signed and
yeah.
so Paige as well.
Also Avery as well.
Yeah. So
So
like what do you think of this, like I would say slightly different approach to team building and kind of roster construction, because I mean this is a refreshing thing that we've seen from the dash.
for me, I
Yeah.
welcome it. I welcome it because the old regime, the old leadership was more of quick fix. Let's see what we get now.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, if you go back to like the James Clarkson era, or even back even before that, they were more focused on, I'd rather get a veteran, proven player that can help the team now than think about the future. And sadly, the repercussions of that is that the Dash squad, if you look about their age, even before last season, yeah, they they were just have so many depth, but in veteran players. So
Yeah.
like that's not a bad thing, but the problem is that those veteran players, like we saw, Katie Lynn retire, Sophie Schmidt is on the wrong end of 30.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia Chapman, she's still in the squad, she's still productive, but yet she's still down the pecking order, you know. And so,
Yeah.
of course, you can't forget, Sarah Putigam. She's relatively young, but she's hitting there, And so you see this score, of course, Paige Nielsen. I think she still can do it, but she's still, in her early 30s. So, for a league that's require pace and feel, you do need some young players to cover spots.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think this is the time that we needed. Like Jeff Strong, though they're going young. I know we still have some veteran leaders in the scheme. We still have
Mm-hmm.
them. We still have them in place. But it's a good team, a good mixture is to have young players who maybe have a good college career.
Mm-hmm.
That's you can't say if 100% they're going to hit or miss.
Yeah.
But lately, these young players uh have been. I think when you go the past years of rookie of the season, you see a lot of them are just hitting numbers way high.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we just don't know how they will do, but I think the good thing is that you have a good mixture of them. You have good different variety of them, and
Yeah.
not all focus on one player. Two players, three players, maybe one, two forwards and a an attacking midfielder that's there. But of course, you have a defender as well. So you do have a quite bit of mixture of them. Of course, I don't mind maybe adding maybe a proven player, as in like an experienced player as well. But other than that, I feel like it's a good mixture. I think it's well needed. We need to think about the future as well. We can't think about how what players the Dash need to get to the playoffs next season. No, that's a good thing. That's the goal, of course, main goal. But
Mhm.
we're trying to make a culture. We're trying to make players grow. The only players proven that has grown here is A.B. Patterson.
Yeah.
Coming from literally from nobody's radar in the NWSL, the last NWSL draft to one of the best players, in the USA women's national team. So the Dash has to change that mindset. I think Angela and Jason Lowe has been doing real good on that aspect.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the thing that kind of shocks me is that yes, there are veteran leaders on this team, but you're looking at the signings that we're making. These aren't supplemental signings. You see a
Mm-mm.
player like Cat Raider, and you kind of see her going up on the offensive, maybe moving down to an attacking 10, something that honestly attends what the Dash have been lacking ever since Barb left for Boston. I think so you see players come from college, but not through that like supplemental role to kind of like step in 2 years or 3 years. No, but these are players that the ownership and the management are betting on making an impact almost immediately. And I think that's such a different sign if you're an NWSL team, because I mean, yeah, you think, oh yeah, this is one of, if not the toughest league in the world, and we're bringing college players that already day one. You see a player like Avery Patterson step up. You see a player like Maggie Graham, and so they're not just investing in your youth, but they're systematically picking strong players that fit their profile and also aid in what they're weak. I think um, definitely a signing like the signing that really like excites me the most is Cat. I think I've paid attention to Duke a lot more than and UNC over the past 2 years, and I think Cat is, um, if not the most exciting prospect, or
Mhm.
one of at least, for NWSL incoming players. And I think this is a type of player that again you can see the flexibility. You can see her maybe as a 10, as maybe as a 9. You don't know, but either way, you see her in like integrating into the starting 11.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good to see those players as well. It's good to be a reminder that of course, we'll talk about the schedule later on. Because we haven't know, but we will still have a busier more schedule. Two teams are added, so there'll be four more fixtures into the NWSL season. So you do kind of want those uh younger legs to push through to grind results.
Yeah.
It's go even though it's two more teams, it means like okay, more excitement, but at the end of the day, it's more games. It's more games that players need to strive and compete in. So it's gonna be a lot more crazier. We see how things go, how things structure, and I think by Jeff Strong made a quick note is that since some of the T heroes are have played here, with Avery, or and Paige Nielsen that knows the system, maybe they'll be making it easier for them to mesh and be in the lineup, But
Yeah.
it's really interesting how this sign is, they're impressive in numbers, they're impressive, their stats say just the only thing is that will they do it here in Dash? I feel like sometimes players come here and become a graveyard, for players.
Yeah.
I don't know because of the heat. I don't know if it's because the culture or the lack of ambition here, but I think that has changed the ambition and the mentality here in the club. So it's different now. So hopefully these players come help the team instead of get buried down, per se, in the ground. But I think my question to you now, I think Jeff Strong, bring it back to him, mentioned playoffs. What's the goal with these signings? You think
Playoff.
what's the message is they're saying with these signings? Is the message is to make the playoffs? Is that the minimal requirement at this point with
Yeah.
these
The
signings?
message has to be compete. Playoffs has to be an undeniable, but it has to be compete. You see, really few teams significantly get stronger. I mean, the whole ordeal in Washington is looking very complicated still with the Trinity
Man,
Rock.
yeah, treating me about well, the one that West scares me the most is the San Diego Wave game Lumila from
Yeah,
Chicago. Now that was insane. That was insane. That was insane.
Chicago blowing
I,
up their team
I
for
was like,
no reason.
this is the NFL. Chicago's already tanking before the season starts. I
Chicago,
was
gotta leave it to Chicago. But San Diego, they got better. Um, Angel City didn't get better. Portland
the
didn't get better.
Japanese midfielder that went to from I think from Spirit, or um I forgot.
Am I gonna make them like significantly better though?
Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I have it right here. It's the groundbreaking transfers that has
Yeah.
happened right now. It's
Well, it
that
could all
has
be
of course
that.
Sam Coffey left the
Yeah.
Portland Thorns, so that's the one thing that got your eye. Or like okay, so that's
Yeah.
makes the Thorns. Oh yeah, Namori Mura. She went from the Spirit to Utah Royals. That was the one
Oh
I was.
yeah.
That
The
was the
great
one.
Royals team.
Yeah, even though Royals is not the best, but still,
I mean,
of
we
course,
lost to them last season. We lost to
yeah,
them last year.
and of course, Orlando Pride lost
Yeah.
Emily Sams to Angel City, so I was like, okay, there's things that of course, Kelly and Shannon, one of the top goalkeepers, left
Hmm.
the Wave to North Carolina Courage, so it's like
So
it's a lot, of course, and that's what value talking about, Remy trauma,
yeah,
yeah.
the no team considerably got stronger, and the Dash did. I would say yeah. I would say
I
they
think I
got
think I,
stronger.
I think that'd be the best. I think at the moment, yes.
Yeah, obviously there's still time for a big move, but I think you see this message that the Dash are sending, and it's we were so close to a playoff spot last year. We're not taking another year like that. The playoffs is a necessity, not an accomplishment. And I think these kinds of signings provide the energy, but also the talent, also the skill to take this Dash team to the next level. Because if you think about it in the perspective of Maggie Graham had outside of the ACL injury, let's just say 2/3 of an elite season.
Hmm.
Would that be fair?
Yeah.
You bring in 3 players, 4 players, and if they all have the 2/3 of that elite season, God forbid an injury, but I'm just assuming through dipping performances, through adjustment, through different things, just to be, somewhat safe 2/3 of the season they're going to play at a very similar level as a Maggie Graham, then we're making the playoffs easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the kind of moves that I feel like this Dash team were really looking for, because now you get Maggie Graham for a full season, God forbid another injury. Now you get these new players, and you get them for a full season. Now you get maybe a little bit more of Avery Patterson, discarding the U.S. women's national team call-ups, because I mean there was a lot of absences there, and then you get a full season of Lisa Boateng, you get a full season of Clarissa. You get all of these players.
Or Yasmin Ryan playing the right position after a whole year of trying to
There you
mix
go.
with her.
There you go. No more Maggie Graham at left back. I mean, this is you thought I forgot about that. Nope, I didn't forget about that. Or was it right back? I don't remember. But
It was left back. It was left back because Avery was right back.
Yeah, that checks out. No, but Maggie was playing there when Avery was out.
No, I think it was one of the time that that we had either Westfall as right back.
Okay.
Westfall is right back. You know, we rest.
That makes sense. Because I asked for Reese about it a couple of games like into the season, and he said because Avery was out. But we have these players for a full season, and we've already displayed competitiveness against the league's best with an unavailable squad. This is a scary Dash team. Obviously, there's the possibility that this Dash team can implode, and the players aren't as hyped up as I bring it up to be, or as you bring it up to be, and this season can be a disaster. I would rather take that risk than to just blindly just say, what, it's another Dash season, we're gonna be mediocre, and there's not really anything that's gonna change. I'd very much take that risk, because that means this team is putting their chips somewhere. They're placing a bet on something. And I think the bet, I don't think it's that hot of a take, but it's on college. It's on the player development pathway. It's Jason Lowe saying, hey, I worked at Boston College. I worked with these other schools. I know this like the back of my head. I can put my bets on these things. And whether that bet is a massive payout, we'll see. We'll see in December. We'll see in November. But I think this is a great opportunity for the Dash to really surprise people.
I mean, we got to remember, the NWSL survived the longest because of the NWSL draft from the college games, and you also got to remember the success from the early times of the U.S. Women's national team was because of the college system. Yeah. So the college system is still proven. The only thing is just, of course, the rest of the world is catching up with, youth camps and youth squads that they didn't have while the women's were actually doing here for the longest time. So it was pretty much that. Oh, I forgot to mention, Denver got Lindsay Heaps.
Lindsay Heaps. Yep.
So
Denver that's a good move. That's a great move.
I feel like Denver at the moment looks like a scary squad, but it's very hard to know because they haven't played a game.
Yeah, together. Same with this Boston team. I was going to take a breath to talk a little bit about Boston when I was mentioning the offseason, but I couldn't find – here it is, and of course I find it now. For those who know me, I've mentioned it earlier in the episode. I'm in New York. I'm in the East Coast. So not only do I cover the Dash, but I cover Gotham FC as well as the newly founded Boston FC. Or Boston Legacy FC, sorry. So, I mean, Manny, if you don't mind, I can name some of the big names that Boston signed, and you can tell me whether this is a scary team. I mean, goalkeeper probably going to start Casey Murphy.
Yeah.
You got Laurel Lansborough, Lais Araujo, Nikki Hernandez. Nikki Hernandez was great for Club America. Yeah. Bianca St. George.
Yeah.
Another good face in NWSL.
I call it the silent killer. She goes unnoticed and then she just pops up.
Yeah, she's hard nosed. She's gritty. She fights. I appreciate that. You got Barb, a homecoming, and then another player who The one player. Nah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you got Barb, and then you also got the other Dash player, Chloe Ricketts. Uh, and then
yeah.
to mention some, and then you got Amanda Allen in the forward, Nichelle Prince, another Dash player.
Yeah.
Um, this is what the title of the episode should be: Boston Legacy and Houston Dash Shinings. Eh.
Mm. Are you
No,
sure? Are you sure it's not Tigres?
Tigres, man. Tigres, man. Tigres. Well, before it was Tigres, it was the Houston Dash. So
I
I'll just say
know.
that.
This is the Dash 3.0.
But Sammy Smith, a Boston College alum,
Yeah,
right there. She played a year at Texas A&M.
yeah,
I'll say that. But you have some good names there. But I
yeah.
mean,
I
you'll
think the moment is like we talked about Denver. Just Lindsey Heaps. I think that's the first name, but like I think
yeah,
everything else is so hard to tell. I think like we talked about Utah 2 years ago. How Utah's gonna be. It's really hard. How Bay FC was gonna be as well. Bay
hmm
FC, they spend a lot.
yeah.
Especially
They actually poached
from
some of the
Barca,
Dash
from
players.
Oswala, from Barca,
Yeah,
and so she's paid a lot, and a year and a half she was cut off,
yeah,
so it's like so you have those moments. It's very hard when you try and I get it, the lucrative the idea, have a a blank canvas to see who you can paint, but the problem sometimes that blank canvas could be also a trap for you. You get all
yeah,
those, but it's very hard. It's really enticing to see how they, but there's no culture. You got to build that. You got to build everything. So it's very hard to see how that goes. Of
yeah,
course, playoffs. I think at the moment we're still thinking about. I think still 8 teams that haven't announced any change. I
yeah.
think a lot of reporters, a lot of people still want the 8 teams because it just kept the competitiveness. I think that would be good for the league until
I think it would be
maybe.
great.
I think until maybe like if we expand to 20, maybe make it 9 or 10. But like I think we have to discuss that once we hit that point.
Yeah.
And then of course, I call we will talk about the schedule. Will the schedule change like the MLS will? Uh, highly doubt it. Jessica Bergman is very adamant that the NWSL can't survive the schedule. Maybe it's something they will think people all in the future. I know right
Mhm.
now, for instance, Seattle and Denver don't have
Mhm.
stadiums because of the World Cup and because of the MLS schedule right now. So it's
Yeah.
like still, that's another reason why maybe for the NWSL might not change the schedule just yet. But it's very hard to see how that they can do. But
Yeah.
I think before we move on, before we talk about this is the roster we have for
Let's
the
take a look at this. Shout out
for
Hefe.
Inshallah, Hefe, right now this is the roster that we have. Also, the contract they have. Of course, the new college players, most of them will be under the 2029 contract, so they're here for quite a while. They're really invested on those of those,
Mhm.
so 29, 2028. So it's really good. It's really good to see that. I think, of course, we talked about, Rebecca and for Zoe still on loan. I think the only player, of course, I think Hefe forgot to put. I'm not mistaken. What's her name? What's her name? J Y Harris. She's technically still on loan, but
Yeah.
uh, but uh, but at the moment, with that as well. But uh, okay. My question to you: is there any additions that is needed in this squad, or you think that maybe this is the team for the rest of the season, or you could see more improvements to it?
I don't really see that many improvements necessary. The midfield is looking solid. I mean, the
Yeah.
midfield is great. I think Colaprico, you see Kiki, and then if you want to play three, put Maggie. But if you want to play four in the midfield, then add in Cat, um, or Kate Fassy, and drop her down from the striker to maybe a 10. I
Hmm.
think that's solid. I think our striker depth is pretty solid. Is it a lot of unproven players? Absolutely, absolutely. But I think you have to bet on those players sometimes. They just, catch fire and just never stop scoring. Uh, Defense, I would maybe like Zoe Matthews to get recalled. Um,
Hmm.
I saw a lot of promise in Spain from the couple of games that I was able to watch. Um, and I think not having a pure backup um, from Avery is a little concerning. I know we have Malia. I think Malia will be able to
I
kind of
know,
like
and
be
then
that back. But I kind of see her more of like a center back, like an off-ball center back. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
mhm.
Um,
I think
but
she's just a massive trade in the back line. I think she could play comfortable any position, but
yeah,
I think her main calling. Of course, you still have. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. If I can find her name, you still have Westfall to
yeah,
replace Patterson in the right back position. So you do have someone of experience
yeah,
in that position. Of course, if Avery Patterson, maybe not a like for like per se, but not as efficient as Avery, but still
yeah,
someone there that can provide help. You know,
yeah. I think I don't know. I would still like maybe um one
I
more.
think my main concern, and maybe another veteran center back.
Yeah,
Just for injury concerns,
yeah,
just for injury concerns, because you got rid of Kaylin, you got
yeah,
Jay Wise still on loan, Rebecca and Zoe Matthews is still on loan at the moment. So I would say, even though we got Malia
yeah.
Berkeley, of course, and you got Paige as your starting center backs at this point, and you, of course, you have maybe of course uh, I'm trying to think of her name. I think Westfall can play on center back as well, but an injury one or two from there, you're kind of looking real light at the center back position. So I will and so I will see someone just to get another one center back just to have that cover. Of course, put the game. Of course, Sophie Schmidt can play center back, but I don't think they're a rule. I prefer them in their natural positions, so where they can thrive on instead of just bandage for that. But I think that's for all. But I still see maybe a couple more signs that could be
Mm.
done. That'd be my main. I think if you give me one more center back, I think we can rock this team for the rest of the season and see how far will they go. But
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. It's pretty. I think so far I really like this team. People say it's young, it's unproven, but that's how most rookies are. You
yeah.
just bet on
No,
them, and
that's true.
you see which one, because if we didn't bet on the rookies, we won't have a player like Avery Patterson. We don't have a player like Maggie Graham. You have to run. Look at the players that flourished under the rookie last year. Riley Turner.
Mm.
Who was
Riley from Rutgers was
who
insane.
who was unnoticed. No one was not even part of a squad. You know, she came as a non-invitee roster, and boom, she became one of the best strikers on a poor Angel FC team. So we'll see how that goes. But that's that's all the roster is good per now. Just still have a lot of window coming up. Still a lot of things to see.
There's a big day
How
tomorrow.
Angela, tomorrow, uh,
Big day tomorrow.
the NWSL schedule will come out tomorrow.
Big day tomorrow.
Okay, I think before we close it out, the NWSA schedule comes out tomorrow.
Yeah,
Diego, what's your if you had to make a prediction,
yeah.
uh, what would be like your opening match day, and what you would like you be your closing the end of the season match be for the Houston Dash?
Opening's got to be for me Gotham. I think Gotham. That's my two teams right there. Anyone in New York City will crucify me if I don't show any sort of love towards Gotham. I mean, they're the two-time defending champs, the lowest seed in NWSL history to do it. The first time an eight seed has ever made it to the final and won, because I mean the format was expanded. And the last time the last lowest was also Gotham back when the playoffs was a 6-team playoff.
Yeah.
This is a great opener for me. And then
And
your
reigning
question,
CONCACAF Champions Cup.
yeah, that's true. Where they unfortunately beat Marrayadas, but we're not talking about that.
They got whooped.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You didn't have to say that, but okay. But
Whoop.
you said opening and then dream matchup
The opening and the last game.
and the last one.
Because that's the first. That's like when the highest peak attendance is for the dash
Yeah.
here. So Gotham first. I like that.
You know what? Give me another KC game. Give me another KC. I think that KC game last year where we won 1-0 because of Ryan Garris's wonder strike. I mean,
Yeah.
KC's gonna want blood. KC's gonna want to fight in a situation where playoffs are on the line and like we're playing KC and they have another miracle season because they're upset that they lost against Gotham. I think that would be an ultimate way to make the playoffs, and I think I would love to see that. But Manny,
Yeah.
what is your closer or what is your opener and what's your closer?
I think my dream opener would be the opposite. I would have KC as my dream opener.
Okay, okay,
Just because of rivalry, just because of their season. Of course, KC. I think
yeah,
KC has something to prove on for that early exit in the playoffs.
yeah,
And so many people had them winning the whole thing. So just to see that, also it's because they just have the dynasty, but also have that weird uh with Chris Armas as a new head
yeah.
coach.
Chris Armas, the new
So so
coach.
so so and Blacko as the GM. So it's very
Yeah,
weird. I want to see
yeah,
how that goes and how that's affecting the team. So I just want to see how that goes. And of course, Dash coming in, you know, and hopefully making their own dynasty, maybe getting that win against the old one. That just going sparks. But that's why I think in my closing game would be either Pride
okay.
or uh
So Pride is always a tough team when
I
you're
know,
the
I know,
dad.
I know, I know, I know, but I like just like that. You want to end on with the toughest, or you're one of the new teams. Either Boston Legacy or Denver.
I'd take Boston Legacy. I'm gonna be so honest. They look just, a better
Yeah,
constructed team. I think if you're talking
yeah,
competitiveness, I see that team competing a lot more.
yeah. But we'll see. Well, we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow
We'll
the
see tomorrow.
the
We might have to
schedule
do a
comes.
special episode tomorrow or something.
Nah, let's wait. Let's wait next week. Let that simmer in. Let that simmer in. Let that
Let's
simmer.
simmer.
Let it think about it. We'll think about what matches. I think Dustin is gonna release what matches you look with the opener. What 5 matches you would like to see from
Yeah.
that schedule come out. It's gonna be
Mhm.
real interesting. It's gonna be real great to see how that, of course, and hopefully maybe Dash will still be active in the transfer
Yeah.
window. We never know. Maybe next week we'll talk about more transfer. Who got traded? Who got of course. Oh yeah. Or you got Spirit. Oh yeah, Spirit's game. The Pride lost to GM or Dash legend Haley Carter to the
Yeah.
Spirit as a GM.
Yeah.
So the Spirit might be cooking too. But
You think
even
the
without,
Spirit might be able to rope back Trinity though?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a discussion that I don't want to be in for or cancel for because it's a lot of. I feel like it's going more into politics
Yeah.
than actual negotiation. So I'm like, I'm just gonna beat this side of the fence and not be canceled at this point. So, but no, thank you for all for coming by and sticking with us. I know it's been a while, so we're trying to get back in the mojo of it. So always reach out for us at biocitysoccer.net and our social media, biocitysoccer on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, the the
Blue Sky.
threads, the X, the blue sky, the everything. I know. Maddie wanted to do the TikTok, but I don't know what
Maddie,
happened
oh
with that.
Maddie, start that TikTok, man. If you need help, I got you. But
I know, but it is what it is. But I also like to thank our sponsors. Ugly Guppy, Lotus Bravos, We Got Soccer. Uh, we haven't thought about the live podcast yet. I think it's just everyone's been busy with the holidays. Everything's been busy with getting back to the normal life. But it's been up and down, so we'll see how it goes from here.
we're
So,
back.
but we're back. We'll see you all next week. We got the schedule coming out. Hopefully, more news. Hopefully, by the schedule comes out, more of the schedule, the blueprint, and more of the breakdown of the season. And
Yeah.
then we saw we'll release more about what's going to happen, what's all of that. So I think that'll be more of a discussion. See, okay, with that new adjustments or new rules, can the dash? How will the dash do that for that season? I think it's a lot more, you know, to go on. But thank you for all. We'll see you all next week, and don't forget to hold it down. We'll see you all.
It's
Peace.
down. Peace.